This episode is brought to you by Audi. The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Hey, Fidelity. What's it cost to invest with the Fidelity app?
Start with as little as $1 with no account fees or trade commissions on U.S. stocks and ETFs.
That's music to my ears.
I can only talk.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Zero account fees apply to retail brokerage accounts only. Sell order assessment fee not included. A limited number of ETFs are subject to a transaction-based service fee of $100. See full list at fidelity.com/commissions. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
You're listening to the Animation Addicts Podcast, episode 269, Ranking the Disney Canon, the Revival Era. Welcome to the Animation Addicts Podcast with the Rotoscopers, the #1 place to get your animation fix with animation addicts just like you. Each episode, we dive into the wonderful world of animation featuring Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar, and everything in between. From hilarious discussions and movie reviews to interviews with industry insiders, this show's mission is to brighten your day through our love of animation. So hop on your nerdy couch, grab some snacks, and get ready to hang out with your animation besties because it's time to dive into today's episode. Hey, Animation Addicts. I am Chelsea Robson.
And I'm Morgan Stradling.
This is the week that we kind of catch up to ourselves. We are almost to the current situation of Disney. Everybody say yay. Yay. I mean, it's actually kind of a big deal. We've gotten through all of these movies over the last several weeks.
Yeah, we've gotten some really great feedback. People are really liking the Disney Canon countdown that we're doing and breaking down the different Disney eras. I mean, who doesn't love going back through time and talking about the ups and downs of Disney? I like the ups a little bit more than the downs, but you got it. The good comes with the bad. And we are back up at the top. We are the revival era. So if you don't know, the Disney revival era started in 2009 with The Princess and the Frog, and it goes up until now, though I might say that there is kind of a break starting to form.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into all of these because the revival means that we have more life, and that just, everybody loves that. So stick around. We are jumping right into these.
Lowe's knows what makes SpringFest savings even better are member-only doorbuster deals. Right now, rewards members can save $40 on an Allen & Roth Chesler Gold faucet. Was $99, now $59. Plus, save $110 on a Cobalt 40-volt battery trimmer and blower combo kit. Was $279, now $169. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/24 while supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, so let's take it away. So most people, the consensus is that the revival era starts with The Princess and the Frog. This was the revival, if you will, of 2D animation. It had been quite a few years, almost half a decade, since we had previously seen any 2D animation from the studio. They closed down the department and it was thought that it was dead. But then coming back, John Lasseter was now head of the studio, and this was Ron and John's film, and they decided to do it traditionally 2D animated, which we will see through the revival era. We will see very briefly again. So it's not like this revival was necessarily a revival of 2D animation, but it's more just a revival of Disney animation. So Princess and the Frog, I remember I was incredibly excited for this because it had been just such a long wait for a traditionally animated film. And it felt like the world had moved on and we were never going to see this again. And so the anticipation, kind of going with our last episode, we were talking about when you get really hyped up and involved in the hype, sometimes it diminishes or it obscures your true perception of the film. That being said, I don't think I was let down with Princess and the Frog. I really enjoyed Princess and the Frog.
You know, this was also a time of under new management. John Lasseter and Ed Catmull had come in and started over both Disney and Pixar a couple movies prior, but this was like the first movie that was started with when they were there. And the other ones were kind of like, you know, the leftovers of what the other administration kind of had created. And so this is like under new management. This is what we're doing. And John Lasseter was coming in and he was just like, no, we're going back to the good stuff. And he wanted to have a princess movie because that always brings in the money. So we got to do that. And The Princess and the Frog, they wanted to hit it at a totally different angle than what had been hit before. They're going to go down on the bayou. They were going to have the elements of the Disney fairy tale, but then more modernized. So that was something different. And then you also have African-American princess and a prince from another country that is made up, but like is totally good looking.
Oh, he's hunky.
He's so hunky. You should check out our Disney Hunks and Heroes episode because he is high listed on that one. But, you know, they really wanted to hit all the high notes, and they did with the music as well. They had some really fun songs in there.
Yeah, Randy Newman was brought back for this, which previously Randy Newman was the Pixar guy. Mm-hmm. But, you know, John Lasseter being a Pixar guy, he knew what works. And I'm surprised, you know, I just, when I think of Randy Newman, I sort of think of these songs that he's singing over the soundtrack, you know,
right?
The characters aren't singing a Randy Newman song, but this was one where he wrote it and they performed it and sang it. And I will say that these songs feel very Disney. They feel very Menken. They go with the Disney repertoire for animated musicals. And there's quite a few songs on this, and all of them are very, very enjoyable. I really love Almost There, that Tiana sings, you know, talking about she's almost there to getting her restaurant. Back in New Orleans, the kind of the opening number is really nice. Evangeline is kind of a weird one to me. Don't love it, but I really like Mama Odie's song. Just there's a lot of really, really great songs in this.
Yeah, they really tried to bring out the movie musical again.
Yeah.
Which they basically stopped doing for a while. So
the movie did well, but it didn't do just this breakaway success. Budget was $105 million and the box office was $271 million. And I remember that kind of being, to the studio from their perspective, a bit of a disappointment. And we're going into our next film, Tangled. It was originally in development with Glenn Keane being the director, and it was Rapunzel. But after Princess and the Frog, the studio had sort of got in their head that no, things with princess in the title or the princess's name don't do well. And so we have kicked off sort of these one-liners. So instead of that, they decided to name it Tangled, which is interesting because at no point in time does her hair ever get tangled on anything. But that's cool. And so Tangled comes along. It's CGI animated and was just a huge success. It basically doubled what Princess and the Frog did. This one ended up doing $592 million. So that was just spectacular, and it kind of proved all of their points. The other one had a princess as the main lead, and so we're going to change all these things. And, oh wow, it did well. It must have worked.
Right.
Yeah, I just remember I was young adult out of college at this time, and the single adult scene. Even the guys in the scene enjoyed seeing Tangled.
It has a storyline and a guy in there that's very much of a rogue. So it's a likable guy, but also a guy that's like obviously not the stereotypical either perfect guy or also not the villain, so it's like you have a relationship there that was they carried through it really well. And I think that leads to more guys liking it too. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a guy. Tell me if you agree with that or not, but that's just my assessment.
Yeah, Flynn Rider, really great. And they brought back Alan Menken and Glenn Slater this time to do the lyrics. And these songs are iconic. They're memorable. The villain is great. Princess is great. The sidekick man is great in the fact that he's actually pretty dimensional, even though he seems very surface level when you first get to know him. And so it feels like a much more mature, modern Disney film.
Yeah.
But not quote unquote modern. It just feels refreshed, revived.
I mean, you have Glenn Keane all over this movie, and I appreciate that. I think the world of his style and just him. And so he was one of at first he was directing it, but then he had to back off. But still, most of the initial stages of this movie was of directly influenced by him. So that was cool. Now, for Winnie the Pooh, I've actually never seen this, which I was telling Morgan the reason why was because I had been in Brazil at the time when it came out, and it just it wasn't the thing that I just wasn't able to see it, and I just never got around to it, and shame on me.
Yeah, so this, like I mentioned, is another one of the 2 2D animated films in the Disney Revival era, and it's Winnie the Pooh, not to be confused with the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So they're going back to the Winnie the Pooh trough, if you will, and they're trying to tell that story again. And it's just interesting because it just feels really out of place. And if you watch the movie, and I do recommend that you do at some point, it's cute, it's sweet, it's good, but that's about it. It has some songs from the Lopez's.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of their big start with Disney where they got involved and they wrote a few songs for this. I couldn't sing any of them to you, but that's okay. I do remember seeing this with my niece and nephew. I was being the cool aunt.
Ah, yes.
And I took them to the theaters and did that whole thing.
Check that box.
Yes. It's like, okay, I'm how old and I need to go see this movie. Like, hey, come on, kids. So, yeah, I remember seeing that. But it did $49 million in the box office, which is just a huge flop for them.
Yeah, and this wasn't even like COVID era.
Yeah. So that was a huge disappointment and really kind of put the nail in the 2D coffin, I think, at that point. The fact that this movie flopped, I don't think anything had anything to do with being 2D. It was just marketed poorly. I think it went up against the final Harry Potter film, so it was timed poorly. People were confused about really what it was, so there was a lot of competition that just really forced it just to never succeed. So, but never fear, they got their act back together and they released Wreck-It Ralph in 2012. So this is finally when our podcast is in existence.
Yes.
And so all of these films we definitely have reviewed as part of the podcast because we always hit the big Disney tentpole films. And Wreck-It Ralph was just really cool new film that was based on an original concept. It was video game, CG animated, and did really well, $471 million in the box office.
They did really well, and I loved that. We went to the test screening of this, and so that started us on the list of almost blacklisted, but maybe not quite. But even at the testing, I just knew that it was going to be huge. It's going to be big. I have a lot of really good feelings when it comes to this movie. And also when you look at the character arc, like it does have a really good moment where Ralph basically has to let go of all that he wanted because he needs to save his friendship with Vanellope. And I remember my brother saying that he cried at that point. I was like, aw, that's sweet. I don't remember crying in it, but I remember really liking it. So there we go.
Love it. Yeah, it was kind of a new era. We'd had these different films. You know, the princess films were successful. Winnie the Pooh, not so much. This was a completely new concept, and they just hit a home run with it. So then we have another one after this. It's a princess concept, not just one, but two princesses, but they really took an entirely new spin on it. Frozen, really very, very loosely based on the fairy tale from which it's not named. And they come up with Frozen, which is just at this point the biggest success they have ever had apart from Lion King.
It's almost like if you were to just take like the math of Disney, it's like one princess gives us 592 million. Two princesses give us 1.29 billion.
Yeah.
It's like almost 1 to 1. Yeah. So let's just keep that up and bring us as many princesses as possible. But they had...
Yeah, we'll see how that works for Ralph Breaks the Internet in the future.
We'll see how that goes. But if you followed the Rotoscopers for... definitely for any amount of time, we talk about this era because it was really where we kind of like saw this one coming. We saw this star flying and we're like, nope, we're jumping on that ship. And we caught that wave pretty well at the very beginning. So yay, Frozen.
Woo! Yep, we were big fans. And so was the world. It was a worldwide phenomenon. This is just... Everyone knew Frozen. Everyone still does know Frozen at this point. They're probably still singing these songs. The Frozen CD is in my car right now. My kids still like listening to Frozen, so it will never end. So then we go into Big Hero 6. At this point, if you've noticed, we've had a film released every single year since 2009, which is pretty cool. So they've hit their stride. They were doing this in the 90s, but they're kind of back at it and really, really being successful. We have Big Hero 6, 2014, did $657 million, which I think anything 500 plus is considered great.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind it.
No, yeah. And even between the 100 and 500 million range, but it's just like, okay, that was a success. We are very, very happy with the results. It's usually a 4 times return, 3 or 4 times. So yeah. And Big Hero 6, I recently just rewatched this with my kids. And I didn't love it at all, really. Okay. The villain, it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't make sense, his motivation and why he just suddenly turns on everyone and turns really evil. And Hero is good. Hero as in the main character, Hero. And Baymax is cute. But then it's just like, these were his brother's friends and they kind of wrapped him under his wing, but then once the brother died, they weren't really his friends because he shut everyone out, and then like suddenly something happens and they're like best friends and they're fighting evil together. It just didn't really work for me watching it again, and that the whole premise just really kind of falls apart. I don't love this one, but this was successful.
Yeah, and I think it was just on such a huge high after Frozen that it's like anything is going to touch gold. So, $658 million is a pretty good standard to stick with. So,
yeah.
And then we're moving into 2016. So they did take a year off, or at least releasing.
Well, so Zootopia came out, I think Zootopia was supposed to be a 2015 release, but for some reason got pushed. Nonetheless.
That makes sense
because we have Moana's coming up later in the year.
Right. But Zootopia hit hard. $1.023 billion.
Which is crazy to me because I don't love Zootopia as much as everyone else does.
I don't either.
People love Zootopia and I'm just like, it's okay.
Yeah, I have good feelings about it. I don't have any real negative, I'm not a fan, but my good feelings don't equal in the billions where I would expect $1 billion movie out of that, but good for them. All right.
Yep. Then we have Moana, and this actually really surprised me. 2016. So this was a winter release, $642 million. So it was pretty low. It was in the kind of the Big Hero 6 range. I just always thought Moana was such a smash hit that it would have done better. I would have, if you would have said which one did more money, Zootopia or Moana,
I would have 100% said Moana.
Right. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Then Ralph Breaks the Internet 2018. Oof.
I
don't like this movie at all.
Yeah.
It's just pandering. Like the name itself, Ralph Breaks the Internet, going off of that Kim Kardashian meme of she broke the internet with her butt photo. It was just like, ugh. But that's like kind of the point is he goes into the internet, right? So of course, like Ralph breaks things. I would have just preferred Wreck-It Ralph 2. Ralph Breaks the Internet. I always hated that title. And the movie is just so forced. I haven't seen it since 2018, but I can assure you it's going to feel super dated.
I remember it was all about the likes and all about the
apps.
And while I definitely see the things that they try to bring up, as in people getting themselves wrapped up in internet world versus the real world, and then losing a part of themselves, and really, like, honestly, I think that's where a lot of the issues that we're having with people with a lot of depression and all that comes in to a huge effect when it comes to basically not engaging in real life with people.
Mm-hmm.
So I applaud them for trying to like showcase these things and only caring about the likes. But could that have been a 30-minute short? Yes. Would that have gone over better? Probably.
Yeah. So we jump into another blockbuster hit, Frozen 2, 2019, $1.45 billion.
Oh my gosh.
Which is like, holy cow. This is all of the little Frozenettes and Frozeners.
Yes.
Had grown up a little bit, and maybe they are preteens now. To teenagers.
Yeah.
But everyone was still family friendly. And so everyone went and saw this movie. But Frozen 2, man, it just does not hold up. It is boring. The plot, especially the first time you watch it, you're like, what is going on? I don't even know what I just watched. And we've talked about this. Like, if you watch the making of, you're like, I can't believe they released this because it really shows they had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
I love you, Disney. But I like some of the songs from this, but I really don't like watching this at all. Sometimes my daughter will want to put it on and I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
You don't even like it.
Yeah. And I think
I think she likes parts of it,
I think we should do another episode at some point in time just titled The Problem with Elsa. There were major issues that I had with motives, and maybe the listeners don't want that. I don't know. Go to the website and let us know in the comments. But yeah, the Frozen 2, I will definitely go back and re-listen to the soundtrack. So high props on that. And I'm sure they got high money for that as well. So good for them. And I understand 100% why it hit almost 1.5, but I don't think it deserved it.
Then we had the pandemic, and so there was a bit of a break, which then we had Raya and the Last Dragon, 2021. This was a March release, which typically Disney didn't do a lot of these. It's either good old-fashioned summer or winter, which is that November Thanksgiving time slot. This, no. And I am shocked at this. I did not know. Is this real?
I got this number.
82.5 million. I mean, I think at this point, some theaters weren't they were barely opening up.
Yeah.
So people weren't 100% out of it. Some people were ready to get back. Other people were not. And so
it doubled Winnie the Pooh, though.
Not doubled.
Almost.
A little bit more.
It just did.
But not quite double.
Yeah.
But that's interesting to me that it didn't even hit 100 million. But at the same time, I'm like, meh, it's really not that great.
It isn't. And you can go back and listen to our whole episode on as to why. But in a nutshell, I didn't know why I was watching it.
Mm-hmm. It just doesn't make sense a lot. It's all about she needs, she lost her father and everything because she trusted someone who she shouldn't have trusted, which was the other girl from the other nation.
Right.
And then, so that really should have hardened her and she shouldn't trust people. But then she's learning as she goes, like who to trust. And she starts putting trust in people. And it's like, it doesn't make sense. And then she keeps trusting this girl again and again and again who doesn't deserve her trust. Even at the very end, she's the one who's like, well, I'm going to die, but I trust you. When this girl has backstabbed her like on 3 different occasions.
Right.
with Raya, like if someone does something bad to you and they lose your trust, it's not up to you to go to them and trust them again. They need to come to you and prove their trust.
I mean, I understand what they were trying to get at.
That was that was the big thing that they did wrong.
I mean, I felt like it was just the grouping of her and her little posse that joined up along her route. And it was like this journey that she was going on. But I didn't really have any emotional connection to any of these people. It was just, pick them up. Let's move. Let's get somebody else on the boat,
Yeah. It just felt like, okay, we got to collect the 5 badges to go to the boss, like a video game.
Yeah, exactly. So there wasn't a lot of heart that really connected to me why I was watching this.
And lastly, we have Encanto 2021. This is surprising to me as well, $256.8 million, because I feel like everyone knows this movie, but this movie really didn't take off until it hit Disney Plus,
right?
6 to 8 weeks later. And that's when the soundtrack blew up, and that's when it just became like this crazy thing. Everyone loved Encanto.
Right.
And I think if you were to release this even today, strictly theaters, no, delayed Disney Plus, maybe do that after a few months, this would be much higher.
Would it though?
I feel, yes, it would. It would. Okay. Because if you look at Top Gun recently, what that did.
That's true.
Yeah, you look at Bad Guys, which did really well. Spider-Man.
Bad Guys, yeah. I mean, Spider-Man's its own thing. You really can't compare it to this. But
right, but I do think it would be more than 256. I think it'd be more in the 500 range for sure.
How much did Bad Guys make?
I mean, and Bad Guys is an unknown. I mean, it's DreamWorks, but DreamWorks really doesn't have the clout as like Disney.
Right. So it says 247 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it probably would have.
And that was just a random spring release.
Yeah.
So if this would have been a summer release in 2022, I think it would have doubled. But whatever. It is what it is. It's really good. I love the soundtrack on this. I love the characters. I really think it's really well developed. Mm-hmm. I like that it has not your traditional villain at all.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really, really, really good. So I will say, before we do our ranking, I do feel that, yes, this is the revival era. And it's a good, solid decade plus a few years. But I'm starting to see a break towards the end. And I think starting with Ralph Breaks the Internet, we're starting to, maybe it's something else, maybe in 5-10 years, we'll be able to very concretely say like, wow, okay, Moana really was the end of the revival and Ralph Breaks the Internet
kind of broke
was
Disney.
Something else. Yeah. Like the COVID era kind of like,
yeah,
I don't know. Even with Frozen 2 being in there, I mean, it did really, really well. But as far as quality of the story, it's just like a different tier. Like Ralph Breaks the Internet, Frozen 2, and Raya are like definitely different tier. Not even looking at box office, just like story-wise tier. Something's different, and Encanto saves the day at the end.
When did the upper management shift?
Around 2018. So yeah, there we go.
There you go. It really does come down to a lot of the story making ability up top. Like we've seen this as we've gone through each one of these eras. It really shifts at the upper management and how different films are created and put out.
So let's do our list, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
There are 12 films in this revival era. So shall I do my list or you do yours?
You go ahead.
Okay, rounding number 12, Ralph Breaks the Internet. It's just not good. I will never watch that movie again. Unless I'm forced. Father, you must force her. Name that movie. Or not father.
Father, it's brother.
Brother, yeah. 11, Raya the Last Dragon. 10, Frozen 2. 9, Winnie the Pooh. 8, Big Hero 6. 7, Zootopia. 6, Wreck-It Ralph. Now rounding up the top 5. Number 5, Princess and the Frog. Number 4, Encanto. Number 3, Moana. Number 2, Frozen. Number 1, Tangled.
There you go. Okay. For number 12 for me, I've got Raya and the Last Dragon. I don't really see that as being something that I would really want to watch again. I may, but I don't really want to. Ralph Breaks the Internet, also don't really want to watch again. Frozen 2, I would watch it again, but only to really kind of decipher exactly what it was that I didn't like. But I wouldn't enjoy it. So, because I've already watched it a couple times and I'm like, there are things now that bug me about it that I just can't get over. Now, even though I've never seen Winnie the Pooh, I would still much rather watch Winnie the Pooh over Frozen 2. So that comes in at number 9. Zootopia, 2016 is number 8. Big Hero 6, number 7. Number 6, Princess and the Frog. And then top 5 is Moana, then Wreck-It Ralph. Number 3, Encanto. Number 2, Frozen. And number 1, Tangled. So there we go.
Well, we both are aligned with our top 2. Tangled followed by Frozen. As much as we loved Frozen at the time, we admit Tangled is the far superior film.
It is the superior film, but they both have very special places in my heart.
All right, let us know your thoughts, your ranking of the Disney Revival era by going to rotoscopers.com/269. We will see you in the comments there. And that's all we have for today. Until next time, we are the Rotoscopers. You want me to say that, or that was you saying it?
I don't know.
You say it. Okay. A little bit more animation.
Okay. We got some really great toy commercials coming up, I swear. Disney quote. Or no, it's a Simpsons quote. But anyway.
Tangled brought back Lincoln. Oh, excuse me. Oh, big yawn.
Just like whenever my dog does their stretch thing, it's like you have to say it. Oh, big stretch. With Valerie, what's her name? Princess
Vanellope.
Yeah, with
Princess Valerie.
Like what?
You've been listening to the Animation Addicts Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to leave us a 5-star review. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to help spread the word, be sure to share the podcast with your friends on social media. Just don't forget to tag us at Rotoscopers on Instagram and use the hashtag Animation Addicts. For all the links and full show notes for this episode, go to rotoscopers.com/podcast. Now, if you still can't get enough for your animation fix, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and visit rotoscopers.com for more animation news, reviews, and interviews. Thanks for listening.